Tripping, so you take it over.
Yeah, when you think of FJA, you got to think of Pinky in the Brain. Because what are we trying to do every day? Take over the world. That's all I'm saying.
Bang
That's all I'm
bang.
saying.
Mhm.
And just like we're trying to take over the world, CTC is trying to take over our brackets. Because we do have a bracket challenge within R2L. And before we bring Carl up, I want to give him his flowers because his bracket was practically perfect up until one game. And then he's still killing it because he's number one right now. So I just wanted to give you your flowers there, CTC,
Killing it.
before we bring you up. But I want you to know one thing too. There are house rules. Big Ten is running it right now. So don't come up here with no hate, man. We on the same hate. We on the same team right now until we gotta face each other. I don't need you coming up here talking about no Gator stuff. All
Until
right.
never mind.
Until we look, see, there we go. There go that Duke stuff. You see,
Conversation
we
ain't got
gonna do
nothing
that
to do with me.
ACC stuff over there,
Conversation
man.
ain't got nothing to do with me. You right.
You know what I'm saying? That's that
I'm an
ACC stuff.
ACC my way out of it.
There you go. There you
Ooh.
go. Now let's bring CTC on up.
Oh, you know me so
I already know.
shot, but I'ma chill.
I knew.
You almost brought me back to take a shot though. What you said at the end, but I'ma chill.
Nah, we good
It's,
until.
it's all right. I had you call. I said a little something to eat. You know, I was like, you know, I'm gonna be quiet.
Yeah,
Hey, look, man.
Big 10. Big 10.
All I'm saying is, look, man. The bank was open. That's all I'm gonna say.
Ah,
And just like I'm gonna say with this one is, you
He
can
walked
take
to
a
the
quick breath. You can take a quick breath for now until Thursday, because then that's when the Sweet 16 ramps back up. But despite seeing a few upsets, a few down to the wire games, and quite a few first round, some would say upsets if you pick the wrong team on your bracket. But at this point, we have two tournaments going on. We have the NCAA men's and we also have the NCAA women's going on. And we just want to talk about what's the biggest takeaway from the tournament so far. And Carl, you've been dropping the episodes practically daily. First thing in the morning, you wake up. If you're on X, you see the notification there. If you're on YouTube, you see it there. If you're on Facebook, just like Joe said, we everywhere. What's your biggest takeaway so far?
All right, so I know a lot of people were talking. I just wanted to get this off my chest. I know a lot of people were talking about how the death of the mid-major Cinderella is over. But no offense, Tomo, because this literally is my example. But we are a Dairy Queen buzzer beater miss away from having Colorado State in the Sweet 16, who is a mid-major school. They just Dairy Queen just hit a buzzer beater at the bucket, bro. It is what it is. So to act like because 1 year a mid-major school didn't reach the Sweet 16 is over because of NIL is crazy when we had one literally almost right there. So let's not over-exaggerate. It happened. It is what it is. My biggest takeaway, though, Coach Cal and how he's changing his narrative, including the narrative I have on him. Tennessee, Arkansas, some may say that he got in because of the name. I may be some of the persons that may said that, but he's here in the Sweet 16. I know I talk trash on CTC, like, oh, a lot of people hyping up this Rick Pitino versus John Calipari battle. Give me St. John easily. They went in there and they won the game. Shout out Carter Knox. Shout out Janelle Davis, Trevon Brazile made some huge plays down the stretch. Cal, man, Sweet 16. He's writing that narrative. Another thing I want to talk about is Kentucky as well, because a lot of people throw Kentucky. They lost Cal. Can they recruit? They bring in Mark Pope, and he's in the Sweet 16 too. Last time that Kentucky under Cal with 3 seeds was early exits. They're a 3 seed this year. They beat Troy. They beat Illinois to me in dominant fashion. Really wasn't scared in that game. So another takeaway to me is Kentucky. So funny enough, the two teams, Cal leaves, Mark Pope comes in, both in the Sweet 16. That's one of my takeaways.
Dave?
My takeaways are the viewership in both. Viewership in both the women's tournament and the men's tournament are up. Now, if you want to compare it to last year, the women's tournament is actually down. It's down 22%. But this is the second highest, or should I say the third highest viewership in women's NCAA tournament history. 43% from 2023, when the infamous Reese and Caitlin Clark thing did this. So it's 43% up from there. The men's tournament, they're averaging 9.4 million viewers in the tourney. So that's one of the biggest since 1993.
Yeah,
So
right.
that's huge for the men's tournament. The other thing is we all saw a devastating thing happen yesterday to one of the best college players in college basketball in Juju Watkins. Man, Um, she was on pace to have one of the best postseasons in college basketball. She already had one of the best seasons, if not the, one of the most historic seasons in college basketball in her second season in college. She passed Caitlin Clark for most 30-point games in college women's basketball history. She also passed her again for most 20-point games in the first two seasons. Um, and it's first two seasons for 30-point games in college basketball as well. Um, she actually finished the season as person, the only college player in NCAA history to average 24 points per game, 3 assists, 2 steals, and two blocks in one season. She's the only person that have ever done that. And now we're not going to see it for the rest of the tournament, and we more than likely won't see it next season because she just tore her ACL, which means she's more than likely going to be out for most of the year, if not the entire year. And she can redshirt and come back, but I mean, does she really need to come back? I think she did enough, even with this injury, to just go ahead to the WNBA. So it's sad to see that that she had that injury last night. But man, I gotta say this. I gotta give a shout out to her teammate Kiki because she actually balled out in that game. She put up 36 points in that game. They ended up advancing, but now we just won't see Juju anymore. I was one of the people that said that I think she's going to be a better WNBA player than Caitlin Clark just because of her all around game. Now I know some people going to say like, Caitlin Clark, she can play a little bit of defense. Yeah, it's not like Juju Watkins. Juju Watkins is a not just someone who's going to get in the patch lane. She's going to get some blocks as well. But I definitely want her to have a speedy recovery, of course, because she's going to be out for a while. I'm pretty sure this is her most devastating in her career, and for it to happen now, it's sad to see.
Joe, you on mute, Joe?
Yeah, you definitely on mute.
One of my reactions is what Carl said about the mid-major situation. How people are, oh, it's the death of the mid-major. You know, the story of March Madness is a Cinderella story. I'm like, y'all relax. Like Carl said, a buzzer beater away. I don't think it was a travel. I thought it was clean, but a buzzer beater away from mid-major school going to Sweet 16. And to be honest with you, I think it's actually the NIL is actually helped college basketball because the talent is kind of spread out now versus like the talent being like all in Kentucky or all in Duke and stuff like that. I remember we saw this. I think it was 3 years ago, Carl. I don't think you were doing CTC then, but 2 years ago when the Final Four teams, we were like all four of them were like schools that don't have history of like. I gotta go back and look. I think it was 2 years ago when the Brandon Miller's year. That year.
That was last. No, that wasn't last year. What? No. Brandon Miller year. I don't
2 years
think
ago.
2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago. And the Final Four was San Diego State, FAU.
Oh, FAU, Miami,
and
UConn. Yeah, I'm about to say Brandon Miller didn't make the Final Four.
No, he didn't. But the year he played though. So, but that was exciting to see. Like like the talent is spread out now. I like that. So, and my other one is Cooper Flag. I mean, like a lot of times you see freshmen, they come in, they dominate in the regular season. You can call it, I guess. But then we really want to see how you're gonna respond in the tournament. And so far, y'all know freshmen with 30 points, 30 plus points, 15 plus rebounds, 10 plus assists through their first two games over the last 30 years. Cooper Flag, the only person ever done that.
Yep.
So he's showing up I keep saying the playoffs. He's showing up in the tournament. Can't wait to see him in this upcoming game. But those are my two biggest reactions that like people are overreacting on the Cinderella story, and Cooper Flag is balling out. And I'm taking him over Ace Bailey. Right? I'm telling you right now.
I gotta push back on one thing.
Okay,
you just disrespectful to San Diego State. They got history, bro. You gotta relax. They made some tournament runs. They got Kawhi. They had Xavier Thames. They got some runs, bro. They had Steve Fisher from Michigan. He was coaching them at one point, I believe. They got a little history there, bro. Just gotta push back a little bit.
Oh, okay. You the college expert. How recent did they reach to the Final Four?
Final Four. Now Final Four, it might have been some years, but they had some. I think some Sweet 16, some Elite Eights.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So for me, my reaction was I'm piggybacking off. One of my reactions was to piggyback off of what Dave was saying about Juju getting injured because it definitely would have been a way. Well, it's been entertaining, but it would have added a little bit more to the fire because I think the next team that they play is UConn, right? I think that's Page.
Mm.
I think that is it. Let me see. I want to make sure. Nah, that's Oklahoma. But if USC was to win, then her and Paige would have had to face off, and that's where a lot of people were looking forward to that matchup because Paige been balling as well, and then you got these two names, and just like with the rivalry that we just seen transfer over to the WNBA, people were looking for another one of those just so we can be like, all right, now we got two more that's coming to the WNBA. We just seen them in college. Let's see what's gonna happen here. So that's one of my biggest reactions. My second one is Carl, you know where I'm going with this one.
Of course.
You know where I'm going with
Do you
this one.
think, Playboy?
We got two teams in the Sweet 16. They ain't never been in the Sweet 16 at the same time. And they both got there with nail biters. Because if you watched the girls play last night against Alabama, I just watched what's her name? Ashley. I want to make sure I get her name right. Because Sarah Ashley Baker, she dropped 45 in a double overtime. She played for
Cook.
Alabama. She was cooking. Every time Merlin thought they had a 3-point lead, she would find ways to get them back in the game. I turned on the TV and was like, man, not again. I got to sit here and do this one again because we all know what happened with the men's Merlin game. They showed every clip when it was every time it was the last second. It was like 4 games this season where it was just like, all right, anything under 7 seconds, Merlin gonna blow it. They're gonna blow it, and they literally showed them in back to back. I don't want to remember the video. I still hear you laughing to this day in that video clip. And I said, they not about to let them do it again. As soon as that 3 went in, I said, come on, not again. And then when the bank shot went in, I sound like the coach. I was like, we got to be due for one. We just need one. And my bracket's still alive because a lot of people was clowning me. I told you, I just made the bracket for now. For now, if they beat Florida, I don't want to hear nothing. I'm talking trash then because I've been.
Oh, you got it. You got it. Y'all beat Florida. You got it.
It's up. But those are my biggest
for sure. I don't think you're gonna be able to, but if you are, then yeah, you get your chance.
But why? But why would you make them your natty?
So I'm gonna peel back the curtain. It's been a while since I've seen a Merlin team this good. The Crab Five that they calling them. I understand you about to say something, Carl. But
do you think? No, do you think?
I gotta ride the wave. I pulled the mark when I filled out my bracket because at first when I was filling it out, I filled out my bracket. I said, you know what? It's gonna be a close game, and they're gonna make me mad. I almost cursed on the show. They're gonna make me mad, and they're gonna lose it. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go down with the ship. They're gonna win it all. I had Duke winning it all at one point. I said, you know what? Nope. I'm gonna just be ignorant. I got Merlin winning it all. And if it happens, it is what it is. But
if it won't happen, I'm sorry. Come on, bro. Why you keep saying stuff like this? Are we supposed to be Big Ten, but you keep saying stuff like this?
I'm saying things that Draymond didn't say.
Let it ride.
I'm saying things that I didn't pull a Draymond and guarantee that we'll win. I said if. You know what I mean? So if it happens, then I look like a genius. But if I don't, I'm still crazy. So it's just cool.
Oh my God. You got it. Because I'm trying so hard.
It's all right. Because that means we got to play y'all.
So you muted.
Maryland's not the only team that has two teams in the tournament. Ole Miss has two teams in the Sweet 16.
No, he's talking about them.
The two.
I know what he said because it's the first time that they've been there. But I'm saying they're not the only teams represented as in both tourneys. You got Duke along with Tennessee and Ole Miss.
They've probably been there before together.
I'm just saying.
What I would love to see. In my bracket, I got Michigan winning against Auburn. And I got Michigan State.
Oh, that's another BTA on the year. I'd love to see it.
I would love to see Michigan State.
For a chance.
And then in the Final Four, I would love to see Michigan State against Maryland. That would be dope. In the Final Four too? Oh my gosh.
Tell you. Stop.
Hey man, it's a Big Ten powerhouse over here, man. Just happy for everybody.
I think the SEC got more teams, all right.
They do.
SEC? No, hold on.
They do.
No,
they got
17.
They were dropping left and right.
They had
more bids.
But they got 7 teams in the Sweet 16.
They do. I know they got
Alabama. They
Florida,
got
We got
Alabama,
Florida,
Tennessee,
Alabama,
Kentucky,
Tennessee,
Arkansas.
Kentucky.
Oh yeah, they
there. You
might.
go. They won. They
Yeah,
right
Yeah,
there.
they might.
He
We
said
had
they
eight. We
won.
started off with 8 bids, and we had 2 drop. We had Illinois drop, and we had Wisconsin
Yeah.
drop.
I mean, we had 3 bids. They both dropped in the first round, so it's just us.
Yeah. The ACC was weak,
It's
man.
just
It
us.
is what it
You talking about
is.
UNC?
It was
Nah, yeah, UNC,
and
Clemson,
Clemson.
and
I'm just saying.
Louisville.
You saying UNC?
Bro, Clemson folded, bro.
They didn't fold. What happened was supposed to happen.
Well, I'm not gonna say when I say four, I mean like they got upset.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Were we upset by UNC?
No,
No,
I
that was my
just wanted
pick.
to make sure. I just wanted to make sure.
I was upset because I picked the wrong one of them on my bracket. When I thought I
No,
picked the other one.
I had UNC going further than they did.
I had Ole Miss win the first round, bro. Ole
I
Miss, I
had
knew
them
they
studied
were
in
my
my
first
I
school.
thought I originally had UNC
I
losing
think
that game.
I think I still had
Clearly,
Ole
I
Miss
was
in the
wrong.
tournament right now. Oh no, no, I didn't. No,
I didn't. I had Iowa State being Ole Miss, but Keyshawn
Yeah,
Gilbert.
I had UNC. No, you're right. I had Ole Miss losing to UNC. Yes, I'm tripping. Yeah.
Keyshawn Gilbert.
Another thing is I want to make sure Paige Beckers gets her shine because she's
Oh.
kind of been overshadowed. She
Okay.
kind of been overshadowed. It's been more talk about like Juju Watkins and like Hannah Hidalgo. Paige she been quietly balling. So
Right.
I want her to get her just due as well. She's gonna be the number 1 overall pick in the WNBA draft. She
Another
is
miss-
cooking right
Another person coming to DC. Don't worry about it.
DC, they already got the number one pick. What's the name? Dallas.
We just traded for the third. We're gonna try to
Y'all
package
not gonna get-
that up and get the first.
Bro, she playing with Enrique.
We could play some
We
Enrique
found out
Iglesias.
players.
We could play his music in the locker room. She coming to
We
DC.
shout out players. I gotta give a shout out to Walter Clayton. Cause boy, them 2 threes against UConn late in that game, in guys' face, these weren't open threes.
Yeah,
He
nah,
just
that was
pulled them in their face and cashed them. I
Yeah.
gotta give a shout out to Walter Clayton.
And you might not like this call. I gotta give a shout out to Caleb Love.
Okay, that's fine. We saw what he did against Duke in the regular season this year. 3
Okay.
for 13, 1 for 9 for 3 with 8
now.
points.
And it's gonna happen again. We're gonna strap that boy. Telling you right now. We're gonna strap that boy.
I said it in the chat.
What's
He's about to have a
What's a different Duke team that he played last time?
I'm about to say, you don't have a last time he played Duke in the tournament. You don't have a
That
last
team
time.
wasn't this team.
that ain't exactly. And remember last time he played an ACC team in the tournament, Clemson. He had a
Exactly.
Hall of Fame stinker. He's about to have another one.
That was nasty last year.
He gonna
Oh
get
my
strapped
God.
this year. I'm telling you right now.
But
Also,
go ahead.
one last thing. Carl, you know where I'm
Sure.
going with this one. I have seen too much stuff of people trying to defend Dan Hurley on Instagram. Just because he won 2 titles don't mean he can't be criticized. I don't care what you've done in the past. What have you done for me lately? You can't cry about the invitation that you decided to go to. You can't throw your students under the bus and then cry about the refs doing something and cry about somebody making a dunk at the end of the game when you had a player to do the same
Oh yeah,
thing.
he
You
was
weren't saying
heated.
nothing about it.
But this is my thing with it, right?
No,
First of all,
I
y'all
don't-
didn't get
I
cheated
don't
against
want- I don't
Florida.
want to hear about none of that. Dan Hurley, look, if you stop crying, You be a coach. You're supposed to be the head of the team. Be a coach. Be a guy that leads the team. Don't be making excuses saying that I might not have my team in the invitational no more. Yeah, whatever.
He said, I don't want to do another 3-day invitational because whatever the reason. Like, bro, what are you talking about? You knew it was a 3-day invitational before. You're just sad because you went out the first round. All right, say the 3-day invitational, right? That has nothing to do with day one when you lost. Day one is a regular invitational no matter what, and you lost. So don't blame the 3 days straight for why you couldn't get a win. Secondly, again, with the whole Jemiah Neal dunk in the Big East tournament, excuse me. Didn't you go to the Creighton student section, point to your ring finger, and say you own this school?
Yeah.
Didn't you do that?
You pulled the Aaron Rodgers.
You did that, right?
College
He sure
kid,
did.
bro.
And you don't think they saw that? You don't think they felt offended by you doing that to their classmates? You don't think that they had that in the back of their mind during that game? But now when the rabbit got the gun, all of a sudden you pouting.
Right.
And then you threw your team under the bus. You told a reporter that you can't coach this team as hard as your other 2 teams because they're not as hard or they were soft or something like that. You threw your team under the bus instead of just figuring it out. And then you want to throw a hissy fit when you lose to Florida and say they cheated y'all. They didn't cheat y'all. Walter Clayton stepped up and hit big shots. Florida made the plays, and you lost.
And the only reason why you were in the game is because y'all was hitting free throws. You didn't score a bucket for like 3 minutes straight.
Exactly. They didn't teach you. You lost, bruh. I understand competitiveness, but there's a difference between competitiveness and crying. And you're crying when you're not winning. And it's sad, bruh. I get you a 2-time back-to-back national champ, and we all praised you when you did it because you said it in the press conference. Get your wins now
Absolutely.
because
I
we
said that
coming.
I said
You did say that.
I said UConn should be considered a blue blood just because of that.
I think they already are one, to be honest with you, because Gino Auriemma, not Gino, I can't remember his brother's name, but Jim Calhoun, because Jim Calhoun, Gino is the coach of the women's side, because Jim Calhoun. But bro, like you said, you was gonna do what you did, and you did it, and we congratulating you. But now, like you going out sad, just you lost the game. They honestly were the better team, if we being honest. Give them their props, move on, get ready for next year.
He's salty.
Man, it's a great way to close that one out. Carl, thanks for joining us. You got some last words for us?
We got Ole Miss, Sean Padula, man. I love Sean Padula since he was at Virginia Tech. Big shot taker, big shot maker. I'm excited for that game Friday night. Secondly, I got to get out this abusive relationship with Marquette. I just have to. I don't know what it is,
Carl,
but I just keep falling for it every year. Every year, I was so on. If you go back and watch my Selection Sunday show, I was so on New Mexico over Marquette. But then, oh no, Marquette just comes creeping back into my life, and I gotta pick Marquette. That's what ruined my perfect bracket. My bracket was perfect for almost 2 days straight.
Yep.
And then Marquette ruined it, and Xavier ruined it. Probably shouldn't have been there. Texas should have closed that game out. But I gotta get out this abusive relationship with Marquette. And I know Joe wants to see Michigan versus MSU. Auburn, please beat the brakes off Michigan. I've been having Michigan fans. I couldn't hear them when they blew the Big Ten championship when they had first place by 2 games and they got spanked and swept by MSU and went 2-4 their last 6 games to blow it. Couldn't find a Michigan fan. They won a Big Ten championship tournament. Now all of a sudden they act like they care about basketball again. I'm going to say it like I told my dad. It don't matter if y'all win 8 games like last year or 20 plus like this year. You're still getting spanked by Big Bruh.
Yo, you and Tyler the same, man. Y'all just beefing with y'all parents in sports.
Hey, look who come out the cut.
The guy that don't. Hey, we still alive, brother. You can say we trash all you want. We a 2 seed in the Sweet 16, brother. What a Big Ten championship. And I ain't beefing with my parents. I'm beefing with Pops.
Pops, your mom cool, you know.
My dude,
take the S off of that.
Yeah, I'm bad. Well, same thing with Tyler. He beefing with his dad too. They're a Commander fan and a Notre Dame fan.
And a Notre Dame fan.
Sheesh.
Hey, sometimes your parents be ops, man.
You ain't gotta tell me. I told you what my mother did all last season. That's my team. I'm like, you ain't talk about football for 5 years. 5 years. I ain't hear nothing about football. Tell you, boy. Thanks for joining us, Carl.
Appreciate y'all for having me, man.
Of course.
Appreciate you, sir.
Oh, dang.
Said he won't.
Oh, no, I felt like it was just like, all right.
Oh, yeah. What? Yeah. We can't dab them up. We on air.
All right. Then you disappear.